The grand ballroom shimmered under the glow of crystal chandeliers. Olivia Harper adjusted her borrowed uniform for the 10th time that evening, her hands trembling as she balanced a tray of champagne glasses. The fabric hung loose on her petite frame, a constant reminder that she did not belong in this world of marble floors and designer gowns. This was her first shift at the Sapphire Crown, the most exclusive venue in the entire city. Every step felt precarious, every glance from the wealthy guests felt like judgment. Olivia had spent the past 3 months searching for stable work after losing her job at the neighborhood diner. Her mother's mounting medical bills had pushed their family to the edge of financial collapse. When Rachel Chen, the sharp-eyed event supervisor, called about an opening at the Sapphire Crown, Olivia saw it as her last chance to turn things around. The pay was better than anywhere else she had applied. She could not afford to fail. The gala was celebrating the opening of a new art gallery, and the guests represented the wealthiest families in the region. Women draped in silk and diamonds glided across the polished floor while men in tailored suits discussed investments and business ventures. Olivia weaved between them carefully, keeping her eyes down as Rachel had instructed during the brief training session that afternoon. The voice from the past. The orchestra began a waltz, and couples moved gracefully toward the center of the room. Olivia paused near a marble column to let them pass, mesmerized by the elegance of their synchronized movements. She had always loved music and dancing, though she had never experienced anything like this. Her moment of distraction proved costly. Someone jostled her from the side. The tray tilted dangerously. Olivia lunged forward, managing to steady most of the glasses, but one slipped free and shattered against the floor. The sound echoed through the ballroom like a gunshot. Several guests turned to stare. Heat flooded her cheeks as she knelt to gather the broken pieces. Well, well. Some things never change, do they? The voice stopped her cold. Olivia looked up slowly, dreading what she would see. Derek Morrison stood above her, impeccably dressed in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. His sandy hair was styled to perfection, and his green eyes held that familiar mix of amusement and condescension. On his arm stood a woman with flawless makeup and an expression of thinly veiled contempt. Olivia had not seen Derek in 4 months, not since he had walked out of her life with a speech about how she was holding him back. He had told her she lacked ambition, that her struggles with reading and her limited education embarrassed him. His words had carved deep wounds that still ached in quiet moments. "Derek," she managed to whisper, rising to her feet with as much dignity as she could gather. "I heard you were having trouble finding work," Derek continued, his tone dripping with false sympathy. "I suppose this suits you. Everyone ends up where they belong eventually." His companion laughed softly, a sound that made Olivia feel smaller than she already did. She wanted to disappear, to vanish into the crowd and never be seen again. Instead, she stood frozen, trapped by her own humiliation and the crushing weight of Derek's judgment. An unexpected kindness. "Is there a problem here?" The new voice was calm but carried an authority that made Derek straighten his posture. Olivia turned to find a man she had never seen before standing beside her. He was tall with dark hair that fell slightly over his forehead and deep brown eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. His suit was clearly expensive but worn with an ease that suggested he cared little about impressing anyone. What struck Olivia most was the way he looked at her. Not with pity or disgust, but with genuine concern, as though her well-being actually mattered to him. "No problem at all," Derek said quickly, his smug expression faltering slightly. "Just catching up with an old friend." The stranger's gaze moved to Olivia. "Are you all right?" The simple question, asked with such sincerity, nearly undid her. Olivia nodded, not trusting her voice. The orchestra announced another dance, and couples began gathering on the floor. Derek pulled his companion closer, preparing to join them. He glanced at Olivia one more time with that same look of superiority, and something inside her snapped. Before rational thought could stop her, Olivia leaned toward the stranger and whispered, "Would you dance with me?" My ex is watching, and I need him to think I have moved on. The words tumbled out in a rush. Immediately, panic followed. What had she done? This man was clearly wealthy, probably friends with the venue owners. She was a server on her first night, and she had just asked him to participate in her petty revenge scheme. She braced for rejection or worse, for the look of shock that would confirm she had crossed an unforgivable line. Instead, something unexpected happened. A smile touched the corner of his mouth, not mocking but genuinely warm. His eyes held a spark of something that looked almost like admiration. "I would be honored," he said simply. A dance that changed everything. Before Olivia could protest or apologize, he gently took the tray from her hands and passed it to another server walking by. "Though I should warn you, I am told my dancing skills are questionable at best." Olivia felt as though she had stepped into a dream as he offered his arm. The gesture was so natural, so courteous, as if escorting servers to the dance floor was something he did regularly. Her heart pounded as he guided her toward the center of the ballroom. She could feel eyes on them from every direction. Rachel's expression from across the room was pure horror. Derek stood at the edge of the dance floor, looking completely stunned. "I am Cameron," the stranger said as he placed one hand gently on her waist. "Olivia," she replied breathlessly. His hand was warm through the thin fabric of her uniform. She was acutely aware of every point where they stood close, of the subtle scent of his cologne, of the steady confidence in his movements. "It is nice to meet you, Olivia," Cameron said with that same hint of warmth in his voice. "First night at the Sapphire Crown," she admitted, feeling her cheeks flush. "That explains it," he nodded as the music began and they started to move. "Explains what?" she asked, confused. "Why, you have not learned yet that servers are not supposed to ask guests to dance," he replied, but his tone held no criticism. Olivia stumbled slightly, mortified. "I am so sorry. I should not have put you in this position. I just needed Derek to see that I am not the failure he thinks I am, and you were there, and I was not thinking clearly." Cameron's hand on her waist steadied her, guiding her back into the rhythm of the waltz. "You are not making anything worse," he said gently. "And for what it is worth, anyone who made you feel like a failure clearly did not recognize your value." The kindness in his words brought tears to her eyes. She blinked them away, focusing on following his lead. Despite his claim about questionable dancing skills, Cameron moved with natural grace, making it easy for her to follow without feeling clumsy. "Your ex seems quite bothered," Cameron observed, glancing over her shoulder. "Mission accomplished, I would say." Despite everything, Olivia found herself smiling. Derek was staring at them with an expression she had never seen before, something between confusion and regret. "Thank you," she whispered. "For this, for being kind when you did not have to be." "Kindness should never be conditional," Cameron replied, his brown eyes meeting hers. "Besides, it has been a long time since someone asked me for something without knowing who I am first." Before Olivia could ask what he meant, the music ended. Reality crashed back. She was going to lose this job. Rachel was probably drafting her termination notice right now. "I should return to work," she said reluctantly, stepping back. Cameron reached into his jacket and pulled out a simple business card. "I have a proposition for you. Something better suited to your potential than carrying trays." Olivia took the card with trembling fingers. "Cameron Sterling," it read, followed by a phone number. "I do not understand," she said. "Call me tomorrow," Cameron replied with an enigmatic smile. "I will explain everything. But Olivia, what I am offering is legitimate. A position with better pay and regular hours. Think about it." Before she could respond, he gave her a small nod and disappeared into the crowd. Olivia stood there, the card clutched in her hand, wondering if the entire encounter had been real. As she walked back toward the kitchens, she passed Derek. For once, he had nothing to say. That night, As Olivia lay in her small apartment staring at the business card on her nightstand, she felt something shift inside her. Maybe Derek had been wrong. Maybe her story was just beginning. Sunlight filtered through the worn curtains of Olivia's small apartment, casting gentle patterns across her bedroom wall. She reached for her phone on the nightstand, her fingers brushing against the business card Cameron had given her the previous night. The events at the Sapphire Crown felt like fragments of a dream, too surreal to be real. Yet the card remained, solid proof that something extraordinary had happened. Her phone buzzed with a message from Rachel Chen. The words on the screen made her sit up abruptly. "You are no longer assigned to the Sapphire Crown. Mr. Sterling has requested you report to his office at 10 this morning. The address is attached. Do not be late." Olivia stared at the message, her mind racing. Cameron Sterling had requested her specifically. But who exactly was he? She grabbed her laptop, her hands shaking slightly as she typed his name into the search engine. The results made her breath catch in her throat. Cameron Sterling, founder of Sterling Enterprises, one of the largest hospitality and real estate development companies in the country. Net worth estimated at over $600 million. Known for transforming abandoned properties into thriving community spaces. Recognized for ethical business practices and significant charitable contributions to education programs. The man she had asked to dance was not just wealthy. He was one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the region. Olivia felt lightheaded. She had involved him in her personal drama with Derek. She had treated him like any ordinary person at the gala. The memory of her boldness made her cringe with embarrassment. Stepping into a new world. At precisely 10 o'clock, Olivia stood outside the Sterling Enterprises building in the heart of the business district. The structure was modern and elegant, all glass and steel rising 30 stories into the morning sky. She smoothed down her only professional outfit, a simple navy dress she had worn to job interviews, and took a deep breath before entering the lobby. The interior was stunning yet welcoming. Natural light flooded through floor-to-ceiling windows. Plants lined the reception area, and comfortable seating invited visitors to relax. A young woman at the reception desk smiled warmly as Olivia approached. "You must be Olivia Harper. Mr. Sterling is expecting you. Take the elevator to the 28th floor. Patricia Hayes, his executive advisor, will meet you there." The elevator ride felt endless. Olivia watched the city shrink below her as she ascended, her stomach twisting with nervous anticipation. When the doors opened, a woman in her early 50s stood waiting. She had silver hair styled in a professional bob and kind eyes behind frameless glasses. "Miss Harper, I am Patricia Hayes. Welcome to Sterling Enterprises." Patricia extended her hand with a genuine smile. "Cameron has told me about your meeting last night. Please, follow me." Patricia led her through an open office space where employees worked at modern desks, the atmosphere professional yet relaxed. They passed a break room where people chatted over coffee, and Olivia noticed the walls displayed photographs of community projects and renovated buildings. "Cameron believes in creating environments where people feel valued," Patricia explained, noticing Olivia's curious gaze. "He built this company on the principle that success means nothing if it does not improve lives." They reached a corner office with windows overlooking the city. Cameron stood near one of them, dressed in dark slacks and a light blue shirt with rolled sleeves. He turned as they entered, that same warm smile from the previous night lighting his face. "Olivia, thank you for coming. Please, sit down. Patricia, would you join us?" The proposition. Cameron gestured to a comfortable seating area rather than the formal desk. Patricia poured tea from a service set on a side table, handing Olivia a cup before settling into a chair. The casual arrangement eased some of Olivia's tension, though her heart still raced. "I imagine you have questions," Cameron began, sitting across from her. "Starting with why I did not mention who I was last night." "The thought crossed my mind," Olivia admitted quietly. Cameron leaned forward slightly, his expression sincere. When you have money and recognition, people treat you differently. Every interaction becomes transactional. But you asked me to dance because you needed help, not because you wanted to use my connections or impress me. That authenticity is rare, and I valued it. I am sorry for putting you in that position, Olivia said. I should not have involved you in my problems with Derek. Stop apologizing, Cameron said gently but firmly. You did nothing wrong. In fact, your courage to ask for help when you needed it tells me something important about your character. Patricia set down her teacup. Cameron has a talent for seeing potential in people that others overlook. He built this entire company by investing in individuals who were underestimated. Which brings me to why you are here, Cameron continued. I need a personal assistant, someone to help manage my schedule, coordinate meetings, and handle correspondence. The position requires organization, discretion, and the ability to learn quickly. The salary is $75,000 annually, plus health benefits and opportunities for advancement. Olivia nearly dropped her teacup. That amount was more than double what she had ever earned. It seemed impossible, too good to be true. I appreciate the offer, but I barely finished high school, she said, her voice trembling. I struggle with reading sometimes. There are people far more qualified than me. Seeing potential. Cameron's expression remained calm and patient. Tell me about your previous jobs. Olivia hesitated, then spoke. I worked at the neighborhood diner for 3 years. I managed inventory, trained new staff, and handled difficult customers. I created a system to reduce food waste that saved the owner thousands of dollars. But I had to leave because the pay was not enough to cover my mother's medical expenses. And the Sapphire Crown? Cameron asked. My first night, obviously, Olivia said with a weak smile. Though probably my last after what happened. Rachel Chen called me this morning, Patricia interjected. She said you were the most attentive server during training yesterday. You noticed details others missed and anticipated guest needs before they asked. Cameron nodded. You have practical intelligence, Olivia. You solve problems creatively and care about doing things well. Those qualities matter more than formal education. As for reading difficulties, we can provide support. Technology can help, and Patricia has worked with employees who have similar challenges. Many successful people have learning differences, Patricia added warmly. What matters is your willingness to work and grow, Olivia felt tears forming. She blinked them back, overwhelmed by their kindness and belief in her abilities. No one had ever spoken to her this way before, seeing strengths where she only saw limitations. Why me? She whispered. You could hire anyone. Cameron met her gaze steadily. Because last night, when you were humiliated and hurting, you did not hide or run. You found a way to stand tall. That resilience is exactly what I need in someone working closely with me. Unexpected complications. Before Olivia could respond, there was a knock at the door. A young man poked his head in. Mr. Sterling, there is someone here demanding to see you. A Derek Morrison. He says it is urgent and personal. Olivia's stomach dropped. Derek was here. That is all right, Cameron said calmly. Send him in. Derek entered the office moments later, his confident stride faltering when he saw Olivia sitting with Cameron and Patricia. He recovered quickly, forcing a smile. Cameron, I hoped we could speak privately, Derek said, ignoring Olivia completely. Anything you need to say can be said in front of everyone here, Cameron replied, his tone pleasant but firm. Derek shifted uncomfortably. I wanted to apologize for any awkwardness last night. I did not realize Olivia was connected to you. We have history, as you probably gathered, and I thought perhaps we could all have lunch sometime. Clear the air, the presumption in his voice made Olivia's hands clench. Derek was not apologizing. He was networking, trying to use her connection to Cameron for his own benefit. "That will not be necessary," Cameron said simply. "Was there anything else?" Derek's smile tightened. "I also wanted to mention that my firm handles real estate acquisitions. If Sterling Enterprises ever needs consultation on property deals, I would be happy to offer my services." "We have a full team for that," Patricia said coolly. "Thank you for stopping by." Derek glanced at Olivia, his expression a mixture of confusion and irritation. He had expected to charm his way into Cameron's good graces. Instead, he was being dismissed. "Olivia, perhaps we could talk sometime," Derek said, his tone softening artificially. "I realize I was not kind when we parted. Maybe we could reconnect." Finding her voice. Something shifted in Olivia as she looked at Derek. She saw him clearly now, without the filter of her old feelings or insecurities. He had not come to apologize. He had come because he saw an opportunity. His interest in her was entirely tied to her proximity to Cameron's wealth and influence. "No thank you, Derek," she said quietly but clearly. "I am not interested in reconnecting." Derek's mask of friendliness slipped. "Come on, Olivia. Do not be childish about this." "She is being quite mature, actually," Cameron interjected, standing up. "Mr. Morrison, I think it is time for you to leave." Derek looked between them, his face flushing with anger and embarrassment. "Fine," he said tersely. "Good luck with whatever this is, Olivia. You are going to need it." After Derek left, silence filled the office. Olivia realized her hands were shaking. Patricia walked over and gently squeezed her shoulder. "You handled that beautifully," Patricia said warmly. Cameron returned to his seat, his expression thoughtful. "I apologize if that was uncomfortable. I should have asked if you wanted him sent away." "No," Olivia said, surprised by the strength in her own voice. "I needed to see him again. I needed to realize that his opinion of me does not define who I am." Cameron smiled. "Does that mean you will accept the position?" Olivia looked at him, at Patricia, at the view of the city beyond the windows. She thought of her mother struggling with medical bills, of the years she had spent believing Derek's assessment of her worth, of the possibility of a different future. "Yes," she said. "I accept." Patricia clapped her hands together. "Wonderful. We will start your training on Monday. For now, let me show you around and introduce you to the team." As Olivia stood to follow Patricia, Cameron spoke once more. "Olivia, one more thing. You asked me last night why I helped you. The truth is, I saw someone fighting to maintain dignity in a difficult moment. That is the kind of person I want in my life, professionally and personally." The warmth in his eyes made her heart skip. She nodded, not trusting herself to speak, and followed Patricia out of the office. Behind her, she left the weight of Derek's judgments and her own doubts. Ahead lay possibilities she had never dared to imagine. Monday morning arrived with crisp autumn air and golden sunlight. Olivia stood outside the Sterling Enterprises building, clutching a new leather portfolio that Patricia had sent to her apartment over the weekend. Inside were notebooks, pens, and a tablet preloaded with organizational software. The gesture had touched her deeply, a tangible sign that this opportunity was real. Her mother, Linda Harper, had cried when Olivia shared the news about her new position. Years of struggling to make ends meet, of watching her daughter work multiple jobs while caring for her, had taken a toll on Linda's spirit. But that morning, as Olivia prepared to leave their small apartment, her mother had hugged her tightly and whispered words that still echoed in her mind. "You deserve this, sweetheart. You have always been stronger and smarter than you believed. Now someone else sees it too." Patricia met Olivia in the lobby, looking professional yet approachable in a charcoal suit. "Good morning. Ready for your first day?" "Nervous but ready," Olivia admitted with a smile. The morning passed in a blur of introductions and information. Patricia walked her through the company's organizational structure, explaining how different departments collaborated on projects. Sterling Enterprises was not just about profits. Cameron had built the company around sustainable development and community investment. Every project included affordable housing components, green spaces, and local job creation. Cameron believes wealth should create opportunities for others, Patricia explained as they toured the community outreach department. He grew up with very little. His father was a construction worker who died in an accident when Cameron was 15. He understands what it means to struggle. The revelation surprised Olivia. Cameron carried himself with such natural confidence that she had assumed he came from privilege. Learning about his background made her respect him even more. Learning and growing. Patricia introduced Olivia to the technology that would help her manage reading tasks. The tablet had text-to-speech software and organizational apps designed for people with learning differences. A young woman named Jennifer from the Human Resources Department spent an hour showing Olivia how to use the tools effectively. "I have dyslexia," Jennifer shared openly. "These programs changed my life. Do not be embarrassed to use them. They are just tools, like glasses for someone who needs help seeing." The acceptance and understanding overwhelmed Olivia. She had spent years hiding her difficulties, ashamed of the extra time she needed to process written information. Here, people treated it as a simple challenge with practical solutions. By late afternoon, Patricia brought Olivia to Cameron's office. He was on a video call but gestured for them to enter. Olivia listened as he spoke with architects about a housing development project, asking detailed questions about accessibility features and energy efficiency. His passion for creating quality spaces was evident in every word. When the call ended, Cameron turned his attention to them with a warm smile. "How was your first day?" "Overwhelming in the best way," Olivia answered honestly. "Everyone has been incredibly welcoming." "Good," Cameron said. "Patricia, could you give us a few minutes?" After Patricia left, Cameron gestured for Olivia to sit. "I wanted to check in personally. This is a significant change for you, and I want to make sure you feel supported." "I do," Olivia assured him. "More than I ever expected." "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Why did you really hire me?" Olivia asked quietly. "I know what you said about resilience, but there must be hundreds of people with better qualifications. The truth between them." Cameron leaned back in his chair, considering his words carefully. "When I was 17, I worked as a dishwasher at an expensive restaurant. One night, a group of wealthy customers made fun of my clothes and the way I spoke. I felt humiliated, worthless. A woman dining alone witnessed it. She left me a note with her business card. The note said that people who judge others by their circumstances reveal their own poverty of character." He paused, a distant look in his eyes. "That woman became my mentor. She helped me get into business school, taught me about investing, and believed in me when no one else did. She passed away 5 years ago, but her kindness changed my entire life. When I saw you at the gala, facing humiliation with courage, I saw an opportunity to pay forward what she gave me." Olivia felt tears forming. "I do not know what to say. Say you will work hard and believe in your own potential," Cameron replied. "That is all I ask." Over the next several weeks, Olivia threw herself into learning her new role. She managed Cameron's complex schedule, coordinated meetings with developers and city officials, and handled correspondence with growing confidence. The text-to-speech software allowed her to review documents efficiently, and she developed systems to keep everything organized. Cameron was patient with her mistakes and generous with praise when she succeeded. He treated her as a valued colleague rather than just an employee. They fell into an easy rhythm, and Olivia found herself looking forward to their daily interactions. Unexpected encounters. One evening, as Olivia prepared to leave the office, she encountered Derek in the building lobby. He was exiting the elevator with a leather briefcase, looking as polished as ever. His expression shifted from surprise to calculation when he saw her. "Olivia," he said smoothly. "Working late?" "Just finishing up," she replied, moving toward the exit. Derek fell into step beside her. "I have been thinking about you. About us. I realize I made mistakes when we were together." Olivia stopped walking and turned to face him. "Derek, we are not getting back together. Please stop trying." His pleasant expression hardened. "You think because you work for Cameron Sterling now that you are better than me? You are still the same girl who could barely read a menu without help." The words were designed to hurt, to reduce her back to the insecure person she had been. But something had changed in Olivia. She had spent weeks surrounded by people who valued her contributions and helped her grow. Derek's opinion no longer held power over her. "You are right about one thing," she said calmly. "I am the same person. I always had value. I just needed to work with people who could see it. You never could." She walked away without looking back, leaving Derek standing alone in the lobby. The encounter should have upset her, but instead, she felt liberated. His cruelty could not touch her anymore. A deepening connection. The following Saturday, Cameron called Olivia unexpectedly. "I know it is your day off, but I have something to show you. Would you be willing to meet me?" Curiosity overcame her surprise. "Of course. Where should I go?" He gave her an address in a neighborhood she knew well, the area where she had grown up. When she arrived, she found Cameron standing in front of an abandoned community center. The building was run down, windows boarded up, graffiti covering the brick walls. "What is this?" Olivia asked. Cameron smiled. "A new project. Sterling Enterprises just acquired this property. I want to renovate it into a community center with a library, computer lab, and meeting spaces. Free programs for residents, especially focusing on adult education and job training." He turned to her, his eyes bright with enthusiasm. "I want your input. You grew up in this neighborhood. You understand what people here need. Help me design something that will actually make a difference." Olivia walked around the building, memories flooding back. She had passed this place countless times as a child, wishing it was open, wishing there had been somewhere safe to go after school. Now Cameron was offering her a chance to create that space for others. "A reading program," she said suddenly. "For adults who struggle like I did. Taught by people who understand the shame and fear that comes with it. Make it private and supportive." Cameron pulled out a notebook and began writing. "What else?" "Job skills training," Olivia continued, her ideas flowing. "Not just theory but practical experience. Partner with local businesses to offer internships." They spent 2 hours walking through the building and surrounding area, Olivia sharing insights about the community while Cameron listened intently. His respect for her knowledge and perspective made her feel valued in a way she had never experienced. As the sun began to set, they sat on the front steps of the building. Cameron turned to her, his expression serious. "Olivia, I need to tell you something. This project matters to me, but not just because of the community impact. I wanted to involve you specifically because I value your perspective and I enjoy spending time with you." Her heart quickened. "What are you saying?" "I am saying that my feelings for you have grown beyond professional respect," Cameron admitted. "I understand if that makes you uncomfortable. You work for me, and I do not want you to feel pressured. But I needed to be honest." Olivia looked at him, this remarkable man who had shown her kindness when she needed it most, who had given her opportunities she never dreamed possible, who saw value in her that she was only beginning to recognize in herself. "I feel the same way," she said softly. "I have been trying to ignore it because I did not want to complicate things, but I cannot stop thinking about you." Cameron reached for her hand, his touch gentle. "Then maybe we should stop ignoring it. We can take things slowly, but I would like to explore what this could become." Her mother's words from that morning echoed in her mind. You deserve this. For the first time in her life, Olivia truly believed it. She deserved kindness. She deserved respect. She deserved someone who saw her completely and valued what he found. I would like that too, she said. Cameron smiled, that warm genuine smile that had first captured her attention at the gala. They sat together on the steps as evening settled over the neighborhood, talking about the future they would build together, both for the community center and for themselves. 6 months later. The community center opening day arrived with perfect spring weather. Olivia stood beside Cameron as they cut the ribbon, surrounded by neighborhood residents and local officials. Her mother sat in the front row, healthy and strong after finally receiving the medical treatment she needed, tears of pride streaming down her face. Patricia stood nearby with the Sterling Enterprises team, beaming with approval. Jennifer from Human Resources had helped develop the adult literacy program that was already serving dozens of residents. The computer lab hummed with activity as people explored job training resources. Derek had sent a congratulatory message through a mutual acquaintance, a transparent attempt to reconnect now that Olivia's success was public knowledge. She had ignored it without a second thought. As the celebration continued around them, Cameron pulled Olivia aside. "I have something for you," he said, handing her a small box. Inside was a delicate silver necklace with a small pendant shaped like an open book. On the back was engraved, "To Olivia, who taught me that true wealth is found in courage and compassion." Tears filled her eyes as Cameron fastened it around her neck. "Thank you for taking a chance on a stranger at a dance," he said softly. "You changed my life as much as I changed yours." Olivia kissed him gently, surrounded by the community they were helping to transform, knowing that her story was no longer defined by limitations or the cruel words of someone who could not see her worth. She had found her voice, her purpose, and a love built on mutual respect and shared dreams. The girl who once asked a stranger to dance to avoid her ex had discovered something far more valuable than she ever imagined. She had discovered herself, and in doing so, had found a partner who would walk beside her through every chapter yet to come.